Here.
Greg?
Yep.
John?
Here.
Kevin?
Here.
Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion for consent agenda?
I motion it.
Second. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public input, this is the time and place for discussion items not already on the agenda with a time limit of 3 minutes each. Discussion with State Representative Cindy Golding in reference to Iowa Legislation.
I'm up now?
Yep, you're
Got that
on.
far already, okay. Well, thank you for putting me on the agenda. And you need this because of the, what's online? It's a little too tall for me. So, you know that we did several things this year that might impact you. And one of the things, I go to all the city councils during the summer, and we have some roundtable meetings during the session to find out how these things impact you. And last year we put together a proposal for the property tax. Unfortunately, and I worked together with all of our 11 communities, and the League of Cities liked it, and several people across the state liked it, but it didn't get a hearing. But we were able to push with some compromise to make the new property tax bill not quite as detrimental as it was going to be. So our property taxpayers will get some breaks, but it also puts some restraints on what you can do, but it doesn't put as much as what they had planned. So what I'm asking from all the city councils is for you to tell me, give me some specifics of things that when we go back in January, we can fix. Because one of the things that I find that we spend a lot of time doing is going back and fixing things that when bills are passed, then we pass things to make it not quite so bad or make them better. So I need some specifics from you. I've started getting some specifics from some of the other communities about things that we can tweak that will make it that you can still get your job done while our constituents get some breaks with their tax bills. So that's the one thing. So do you have any questions for me?
What are some of the things that the other towns are doing? You know,
Well, so one of the,
example.
for an example, the TIF program that now is limited for 20 years, they're asking that, there are some that have been put out for significantly longer time. They're asking for some to be grandfathered in. You know, can we do some things when plans have already been made to grandfather these things in? I see the League of Cities proposal for the sidewalk bill. I think we might be able to get that one passed. We had significant discussion, and I've served on local government now in both terms. You know, my first term and the second term. And I think we might get enough people understanding what this is, that with some of the amendments that were put on, that you have to do the notices, that, you know, all of the things that were put together with that bill last time, it just, we didn't get enough people understanding what it was to get it to the floor. So I think that we'll be able to get that done. I did some other things that came from the cities that were, like, with the, if you have city employees that can participate in IPERS, why can't they participate in the state health insurance? I don't understand why they can't. So we've been trying to work on that. Give us some reasons why we can't do some of these things. Some of it is the departments don't want to, they just simply don't want to do it. But we need to give some reasons on some of the requests that came from the smaller cities. Because the big cities, they have enough wiggle room to get around some of these things. But I represent you guys.
Yeah, and I'm interested more in that sidewalk bill because I brought that to our attention a few meetings ago.
I think we'll be able to get it passed as long as it has enough notification to the owners and all of the things that we got in the amendments. I think we'd be able to get it, but we just didn't get it through.
And how much of a grant is it? I mean, because the homeowners, it falls back on the homeowners is what I've kind of understood with their sidewalks. So with this grant, what kind of percentage would that be a break for the homeowner?
I don't know. The numbers part is what the big deal was.
Yeah.
And some of it, so some of the pushback we were getting is there are communities that are requiring sidewalks in certain areas, but they're not in all areas. And one of the big examples was Cedar Rapids, when the Cedar Rapids mayor decided, this was several years ago, that some houses on the southwest side had to have sidewalks installed, where they were on the southeast side, over in the big homes out by 19th out there, that they didn't have sidewalks. So, you know, you have to have all properties being treated equally.
Exactly.
And that was where some of the pushback came in with some of the legislators, that, yeah, cities are gonna force some people to do this and not everybody, because some people don't want a sidewalk in front of their house. So, you know, we have to work through some of those things, because when you pass something like that, it's statewide, and we have to take into consideration all the different kind of communities this applies to. So, any other questions? One of the things I'm working on is the water bills, to make sure that as these data centers go in, and some of the other, what they call advanced manufacturing, that their impact on our available water is not costing us to have to drill deeper wells, to put in more water treatment plants. As the water gets contaminated, we want to have that treated at the source and not dump on everybody else and cause the rest of us to pay more money. So we're looking at that. I had a bill that required, right now the DNR looks at the economic impact as they are issuing a permit, and secondary, then they look at the impact on communities. My bill turned it on its head, that they evaluated the available water and then evaluated the impact, the economic impact, and the pushback came from the ethanol plants. They wanted to be grandfathered in. And I said, well, what if we have a massive drought and we need to reconsider what everybody has? They wanted to be grandfathered in to automatically get renewals on their water permits, regardless of the available water. So we're trying to balance this out. So we need industry, we need some of these things, but we don't need to at the detriment of our citizens. So that's the stuff I'm working on.
You know, if they would reiterate the automatic traffic cameras and stuff, these cities wouldn't have to worry about.
I'm sorry?
These automatic speed cameras, if they let the cities have them, we wouldn't have to worry about revenues for stuff.
That's not my bill. I saw how it improved the traffic problems on the S curve in Cedar Rapids, so yeah, that's not my bill.
Just
Yes.
out of curiosity, for the last couple of years, we were required to have a special meeting separate from our regular council meeting for the budget. Why did that rule?
I have no idea. I don't recall it being a law, but I don't know.
That was per House File 718.
Oh, 718.
Oh, the
Okay.
old 718.
Yeah.
I have already apologized to you guys for 718. That came up, I had been in Des Moines for about 3 weeks, and they promised us that this was going to save everybody a lot of money. But, as you know, I didn't hear one word from any of the communities I represent until that summer. And so that's why I ask you guys, tell me the things that are going on, because while I might not be able to stop it, I might be able, like with the property tax bill, get some compromise that makes it not quite as bad. So 718 has come back to haunt us a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense to me. Because if a citizen wanted to come and talk or hear about the budget, they'd be here at 7 o'clock. We have a meeting, that special meeting at 6:30. And we have to sit here for, what is it, minimum of 15 minutes?
Correct.
Well, I have been encouraging Everybody, I have about 600 people on my newsletter list. I've been encouraging them to go to their city councils. If there's things that you don't like, talk to people.
Right.
Don't call me. Talk to your city council. Because if you really want local control, then you need to participate at the local level, not expect the state to fix your problem.
The state
So-
created this problem with 718.
I understand.
I mean, you didn't need us to tell you it was a bad idea. You could have read it and realized it was a bad idea. Not you,
Well,
but it could have been read and realized it was a bad idea and don't implement
but
it.
I didn't hear from anybody.
You don't have to hear from me. Read it and it's a
I
bad
didn't
idea.
hear from a constituent, I didn't hear from a city council person, I didn't hear from anybody.
Okay.
So,
So
my background, I'm a
ignorance-
research chemist. I have not served,
Ignorance is your excuse.
no. You guys are my constituents, you need to let me know if it impacts you.
Everybody's your
And how
constituent.
long has that been in effect?
It went into effect, I believe, July 23.
I believe the League of Cities had representatives that were meeting with legislation on the issue, so.
Yeah, nobody talked to me, and I was on local government, but I was there. The bill goes through Ways and Means, doesn't come, so unless you're on that committee, you don't get the inside data. And we're dealing with things for every aspect of life in the state.
So
I
this
don't
is
claim
all
to be,
pretty broad, too.
yeah, I don't claim to be an expert on city finance. I was a research chemist, I know a lot about that stuff. I don't know, and that's why I expect my constituents to let me know
Okay.
if there's something that impacts them. Because I don't know.
Well, now that we can put it in our back pocket, you know, I mean, 'cause this is the first time
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is it's a juggling act, trying to figure out how to put the funds where they go. And, you know, employee health insurance is up 13%. You know, project costs increase. We try to do what we can to do projects in-house. We're a small community. Luckily, we have the staff that we do, that we can do a lot of these things in-house, but it's at a smaller degree than some of the bigger cities. And when they cap the revenue of what you can recoup, but the spending, there's no cap. You see, the cost
I
of, the
understand,
cost
yeah.
of doing business continues to, you know, snowball higher and higher. Well, it's already tight, and then you try to, you know, you put caps and different things in place, and I just wish that, you know, people would think about, you know, the effects, especially on smaller communities, you know, we already have so much money that has to be allocated to all these different pots, and it's hard to, when now you cap that, what happens? You know, that's a.
So just to let you know, because I had heard from 3 mayors about some of the issues that were going on with that bill, they removed, so there is no cap on your employee benefits, and there's like 3 things that they removed the cap on because I heard from you. I didn't hear from Lisbon, but I heard from Center Point, I heard from Ely, I heard from Palo, I heard from Mount Vernon, I heard from Springdale. So I need to hear from you what some of the issues are so that I can go, I'm only one, so I can go back to the caucus and say, hey, have you considered this problem? But I need to have some real examples. And the thing that LD from Ely brought to me was the cost of, I think it's debt servicing and employee benefits that were not that were removed from that 2% cap. But that was all originally in that 2% cap. So when you get some compromises and you have real evidence, and you can force a compromise, then you have to vote with the bill when you get compromise, because you're never going to get everything you want. But like I said, it's not as bad as it was going to be. And so I represent you guys, but I need to hear from you. It's like, I knew about septic tanks, so I fought that bill so we didn't have a problem there. I know about there's a lot of things I have personal experience with, but those things that I don't, I need to hear from you.
Out of curiosity, how many constituents did you hear from on the publication dates?
On the publication dates, I've heard from a lot of them about they were afraid that the publication date changing was going to reduce their opportunity to participate. And what I said back to them is, so do you participate now?
I bet they said no. Or at least some.
Yeah, because I did hear from you on that.
Yeah.
And we stopped it, and we got it the way you wanted it.
So last time you were here, Cindy, we talked about how it seems that when local towns go for a grant from the state, it always seems that the bigger the cities get it.
Right.
And you said they were talking about, like breaking it into certain categories and stuff. Has that ever?
So, I've tried to get that through. The problem is, we are in the second largest county in the state. And what we hear is that the money needs to go to these counties that have 10,000 people, or only have, their largest city is 2,200. Because when I speak about my small towns, they say, well, heck, you've got Cedar Rapids right there. So I'm trying to build a coalition of people who understand that our small towns are still small towns and should still have the opportunity to participate in those. And the fact that Cedar Rapids is our neighbor doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the opportunity for improvement internally.
So they're basing it off of counties
They're basing on counties, yeah.
instead of the population of a city.
Right. And I'm trying to push it, and if I'm on local government again, I've gotten more people to understand that it should be the size of the community, not the proximity to a major city. Because sometimes the proximity to the major city is more detrimental to us because it's more difficult to get the industry in our small town because the major city is right there. So those are some of the issues that I brought to it. We've had conversation. I'm making progress, but I haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, it's just frustrating where we read that, you see Rapids as an example, gets all this money from the state to do roundabouts or new streets somewhere, and we can't do anything with our streets because our budgets are shot. But they're spending millions and millions of dollars where it could give us a brand new street everywhere for what they're getting.
There, I'm with
And
you.
it just seems like they're getting it because they're the bigger city. It ain't allocating out to the smaller communities.
That's a problem that I'm working on. I've tried, and I will keep trying. And one of the things that I let them know, I ask how many people go to their city council meetings to actually find out what's going on. Have you had legislators come in here before I started coming?
We've had them in here before, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but it was always around election time. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's not why I'm here.
I understand.
You know?
But
I was here last summer and there was no
It
election.
was always around election times. I mean, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, it's always election.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm asking you, to keep the communication open, and like with the notification, if I have some reason, some facts that I can go to my caucus and say, hey, look, this is a stupid bill, look at what the impact is, then I can get people to come along with me. So, I do the best I can.
Well, very good, yeah.
I'm not saying you're not. But I mean, it's just frustrating, when we sit here as a council, as a city, and, our streets are, and we can't, we just can't afford to do it. I mean, we cannot make taxpayers pay that. We just can't do it.
Well, how about this? So I think I'm going to get a little bit more help this year. Look at Fairfax and the damage to their streets by the construction traffic that's going to the data centers in Cedar Rapids. And they're not getting any of the revenue, and all they're getting is the destruction. They're getting the wear and tear. They're getting a lot of the problems. And so the data centers are, at this point, there are 102 intended in the state of Iowa, and most of them are going to the small towns, but their communities surrounding them are going to see a lot of wear and tear on the roads. The counties, if if they're going, like, they're going outside of the big cities, but to the small towns. And the small towns are gonna see a lot of wear and tear. So I think I'm gonna get a lot more people to understand what the plight is when we do these things. So,
Well, you know,
I'm not against data centers, but I do think that they ought to carry their own
You
cost.
said that about the wear and tear on the roads and everything, but like the city of Cedar Rapids, I mean, they're getting so much money from these data centers.
I know.
You know, screw
It's
Ely,
not going to,
screw-
it's not going to
screw
Ely, it's
Fair-
not
yeah,
going to
screw
Fairfax.
everybody else.
Yep,
Yeah, but wouldn't it mainly be like farmers to market roads, you know, that the city would pick up anyway instead of the taxpayers?
I'm not sure, but I do know some of the gravel roads are
Okay.
seeing tremendous wear and tear. I
know
actually
how
am.
they can blow them up,
Yeah, I'm actually going to a meeting on the 30th to learn more about what's going on down in that area. It's not my district, but if we can get people to understand what the damage is and how these massive corporations should be paying the bill and not the small town. And that's what my goal is, because we've got a perfect example here, but it's going on all over the state. And if we can wake people up to what's happening, then I have a much better chance of saying, hey, look, we need this fixed. We need a resolution to this problem. And not just dump it on the small town taxpayers to fix their own streets after all this construction traffic has gone through.
Exactly, yes. I
So-
agree.
That's one of my goals.
And good luck with it.
I'm fighting the big boys. You know, the problem here is that we've got the unions on one side and the corporations on the other, and we're getting squeezed in the middle,
Yes.
and I don't like that.
And one of the biggest things, what's your stand on legalizing marijuana in Iowa?
Pardon?
What's your stance on legalizing marijuana in Iowa?
I'm opposed to it. I have, and again, facts, my niece is a life flight nurse in Missouri, and she's been doing it for 15 years. As soon as they legalize marijuana in Missouri, she says 9 out of 10 accidents include marijuana. She has never seen that before. And people that just can't function. And it's different than being drunk. When you're drunk, you know, there's a different kind of behavior. I have never been around it, I don't know, but based on what I've learned, I'm a hard no. Which unfortunately, some of my family is upset with me about. Anything else?
Maybe you're not in your file, but what was your take on raising the speed limit?
Well, I was driving when the speed limit was lowered to 55 in 1978. And it was lowered theoretically to bring us better gas mileage and all of that. So I was not opposed to raising it.
But it's still, raising it still costs the state millions of dollars.
How's that?
Well, 55 signs gonna change to 60.
Oh, we said they can put stickers on them. Until the sign gets, so that was a question I brought up. I was on transportation. I brought that question up, and they said, well, that makes it a big problem. So how can we mitigate that problem? So signs have a lifetime repair or, you know, when they have to replace them. So they said, until you have to replace it, put a sticker on, and then when you need to replace it with the 70.
So they're talking 2-lane roads start going to 70?
60.
60.
60?
And that's where they were in 1978.
Still 80, 90 out here.
And so we have some police officers in our caucus, and they said, well, that's okay with them because they're still gonna give tickets at 65. Whether the speed limit is 55 or 60, they're still gonna give tickets at 65. I said, go for it.
We got anything else for Cindy?
No. Thank you.
Very good,
Thank you.
very good.
Thank you.
And
And
we'll
stay
keep that in
tuned.
mind with what things that you can help us out with. And I bet Brandon is gonna be a little bit more advised on it.
Well, I do a meeting twice a year, so we met up in Center Point and we met in Ely. And actually, the League of Cities guy came and he said he was going to try to encourage that across the state because he'd never sat in a meeting where we had such open conversations about real issues. Because mostly he's hearing from their researchers. And this time he sat there with mayors and city council people from 7 different communities, actually hearing, firsthand what the issues were, and
So
not just reading
Do
it.
you go to other places that is out of your district? I mean, just listen to,
I haven't, because I have 11 communities in mind, and just getting to the 11 cities in my district, and I have a business to run. I was supposed to be done with work on May 3rd, so I do this like I did last summer and the summer before and the summer before, not because of an election season, but because it's the right thing to do. So, anyway, I stayed through your meeting, but you know how, does everybody have one of my cards? I can give it to you. And you know how to reach me.
I got it.
Looks like I might run out here out of that corner of my purse. You have one, Rick?
Nope. Thank you.
Whoops, now I need to go get more out of my purse.
Where you go, Rick? Take the last one. All right, we're gonna move on, Cindy. Thank you very much. Discuss possible action in reference to paying warrants that come in at the council meeting tonight, June 30th. This is just the end of the year. It's June 30th. We're not gonna meet again after this date. Each year we do this. I don't see anything extravagant that's gonna be coming in, but we just typically do this so we can close the budget. We need a motion to pay warrants.
Motion.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Discussion of possible action in reference to approving Plat of Survey 3054 in reference to lot 113 and lot 114 at 414 West Main Street.
So this was the house that had the demo permit I've been telling you about, that was part of the nuisance. So that house has been demoed. We had P&Z meeting this last week. They want to turn that back into 2 lots. Parcel A is lot 113 and parcel B will be lot 114. And they're going to put 2 new houses in each of those lots. This is the first step before that can be complete.
Are they gonna do 2 houses right away or just one? And
I think they're going to do one, sell it, and then put the second one in. And planning and zoning met with our engineer in attendance, and everybody moved to recommend approval.
the motion?
So moved.
Got a motion to a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion and possible action in reference to garbage and recycling collection issues.
I'm sure this is no surprise if anybody's watched the news or seen on the internet the amount of issues that Lakeshore Recycling is having in this area with pickups. I will say, after hearing some of the other complaints from other cities, they're not as bad as here. At least eventually it gets picked up here. But over the last few months, we've had numerous issues with trash recycling and yard waste pickup. We do keep a log of every complaint that comes in for yard waste recycling or trash issues, and we log all this. It became significant last Thursday with the pickups previous week, which lasted all through the weekend to include Monday. I basically was up and met them early in the morning in town and told them that I was going to be here until they finished. It got down to about the last 15. The truck transmission had issues, so that was on a tow truck. And I almost was at the point of calling our staff in to finish up, but they did go back to Iowa City and pick up the truck and come back. So they were able to complete that. They now have 2 This was their first week. They had 2 new operations supervisors, managers. They vowed that this would improve. Just so you know, in the last probably year or so, this is about the 4th group of new employees that they've had as supervisors, to the point where I think I'm calling the old one and the new one's answering the same phone. So, long story short, this last time was really bad. We had a public urination issue, and I addressed that with the supervisor. That individual, by his account, has been terminated and won't be back in town again. But in the meantime, I reached out to the city attorney. We do have a contract with LRS through 2028, I believe it's June of 28. I've also met with another company to potentially take over, because I wasn't sure that our trash was even going to get picked up this last week. So I met with the attorney. They've gone over the contract. I gave them all our report logs. They have drafted a letter, and this is also since we worked with this over the weekend, Friday and the weekend, a formal notice of default that refers to specific contract provisions that are breached. The biggest thing our attorney wants to make sure is that we avoid wrongful termination, because then we can get sued, and then we'd have to pay somebody else to do it or go another avenue, and then we could potentially still have to pay them the contract. So you want to be careful of that. He's recommended an opportunity to cure, even though it's not required. He advised this would look better in the courts if it went that direction. Our letter would let LRS know of the errors, that if they're not corrected and cured in 45 days, and compliance is not satisfactory for at least 60 days, the city will cancel the contract. Then I met with him. I read the letter. It came this morning. And so basically we're at the point, if you guys are good with it, I'm going to email this. He wants the 2 email addresses of the supervisors as well as the business email, and that'll go to them tomorrow, and Dallas Lynch will put the letterhead on the letter and send it to LRS as a notice of cure. So that's kind of the broad where we're at. That's the recommendation of the attorney. I will say that this last Thursday we still had issues, and they have been the same issues. However, most of them got remediated Friday, and then yesterday I met with them again because we had some odd ones that still aren't done.
And what is, when you confront them, what are they telling you? Because I know, like, just for instance, I was one of them that they forgot. You know, but, I mean, how do you forget a whole street? I mean, what is their answer?
Basically, they've had so many new drivers, and it would be like, well, you did the mail, it'd be like you go into a new town, and they throw you in the seat and say, drive. And you're trying to read a piece of paper, trying to read this, and you're just basically, and things get missed. And you come back with 10, 15 things of mail that you didn't know how to get there or whatever, same type of deal. And they, from my understanding, they brought in a bunch of experienced drivers from the Midwest. They're staying here for the next couple of months, and they're training all these new drivers that they had. They hired 5 one week, and I think they're hiring 7 next week. But I've heard this numerous times.
Did they say why they had such a turnover? I mean, no matter. And I mean, it's not also just Lisbon. I mean, it's other towns. I've seen other towns.
I know that there's some of the bigger cities are just flat out not getting collected. But the thing that's different with ours is I'm on them every single day until it gets picked up. Or if like there was some yard waste stuff, I had our guys just go get it. Just go get it off the yards. It's killing grass. But for the most part, they're at least, it's taken them a long time. The contract says they have 24 hours from Thursday morning, they got 24 hours to pick that up. So even if you said it was at the end of the pickup, they'd have till Friday night at 6 o'clock that all the trash and recycling needs picked up in our town. And so that's just not, getting complete. So,
When does the contract time, when does it expire?
June 30th of 2028.
And so if they get their ducks in a row here for the next month, and then we kind of back off on that 45-day warning, and then what happens if they start puking again 90 days from now? We have to send them another letter, then you got 45 days to?
I think once that's, well, what do you say, it has to go
They have to be good for 60 days.
satisfactory for at least 60 days beyond that, so.
But on day 61, they did.
Correct, and I think, yeah.
Anyway, I'm
We have to
assuming they're
send
gonna
letter.
get their ducks in a row here, if they can.
I mean, in the meantime, my plan is to kind of take this and see what other options there are in the back end, because ultimately we have to have a plan. I did meet with another company. The price is going to be close. It's going to be a little bit higher, but I'm just going to keep looking at different alternatives or what we can do and just bring the best plans to you, and then you guys decide what's best for.
Would that be
for us.
meaning changing bends and everything?
Well, that's what would happen.
Yeah,
The one thing with this other company, they are very close to here every day. So on a MISC pickup, they're close. The other thing is our pickup may get moved to Friday, which to me, if it was ever going to move a day, Friday would be better, because at least if people forget that it's Friday, they put it out Thursday and they're going to get it the next day, versus Wednesday, when they're going to put it out Thursday and the truck's already gone. But that's a whole nother dynamic, because all those, now ideally what would happen is on Thursday of the last day LRS would deliver, they would come take the garbage if they show up and grab it and grab the bin, and the new ones would be delivered from the other place. But yes, all the bins would go back to LRS and we'd swap them out.
And LRS is the big multi-state company, obviously, right?
I believe that's Chicago.
They do this in hundreds of other cities in the Midwest.
I don't know
I've never done it before. I noticed all the trucks are improperly registered too. They all got Minnesota plates and Michigan plates, and
Yeah.
nothing has Iowa.
Retired.
Nothing has Iowa plates on it either.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Why would it not be beneficial to do it ourselves?
Well, I think that would be something we'd have to calculate out to.
Well, I can tell you that, how many stops you got now?
805.
805? So you need at least 805, so let's just say 805 trash cans at $30 a piece, which they are, from Elliot's. The garbage pickup in Mechanicsville for the garbage is $25.95. They got 475 stops. They bought a truck, 22-yard truck for $314,000, paid $30,000 for the trash cans, and they do it themselves. This town would probably take one shift to do it.
What do they do for recycling?
They haul it to, they pick it up themselves and take it to Davenport and get paid for it.
So they pick up 400 garbage and 400 recyclings.
Yep. Well, if they put it out, some people say they don't have a wall there, but Tyson does it every Monday. And you know what, it's, not to say nothing, I mean, it's less than a fire truck, really. For, if you look at it, we just passed a franchise fee for so much money that they just stood here and said, well, we can use it for anything, let's buy maybe that might be the way to go, buy a garbage truck.
Well, and then
This is also something that collects fees every water bill, so it does pay for itself to an extent.
yeah, it does, and a lot of towns do north side, south side, you know, swap off like one day this week.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be this day.
Cut the town in half.
Yeah, because we don't even know how many garbage trucks that there would be to full for Lisbon. I would have no idea.
What do they do when it breaks? If it breaks, what happens?
We take it up to truck country.
So let's say, like on the pickup day, let's say it's Thursday.
Oh, they call Tipton and they bring their truck down.
Their
city.
just an agreement with another community that's got an available truck.
I'm not saying, you know, that maybe in Lisbon, you know, if you got 800 stops, maybe like this day would be this side of town or this.
Exactly, that's what I mean, and
And then
then
this side of town.
split it up, because we don't even know how many trucks it would
Thing
be.
is
But it would be something to table, to see, because that would be a heck of a saving.
So who does it when Tyson calls and says,
Well,
They got one person, they does, we got two members. Griff will do it. Yeah. Would they even have staff to do it here?
I mean, we'd have to hire people.
What's,
What would you have to hire?
Well, what do you want us not to do? You can't keep adding stuff for us to do without stuff getting not done.
I just think you're afraid to do it, because I've already got four.
You're right.
I think it's fair.
That's what I am.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, you're just talking. I got it.
Well, I think it's worth investigating, but for right now, we need to cover ourselves by.
How much do we pay a year for garbage and stuff?
360, I want to say. 360,000. Don't quote me on that. Rick, do you know Tipton, Mechanicsville? I thought at one time I saw
Clerks do.
Monticello, I want to say did, and did they quit?
I think they still, City of Monticello still has garbage trucks.
All right. What I'll do is I'll just go and talk to these people and figure out how they're doing it, what, as far as how they're figuring out the price, and just take a big picture as to how this looks in the
Yeah,
meantime.
we need to do research on it.
yeah, and that's why I say, let's just table it and do some research on it.
I'm not in favor of tabling it, I'm in favor of moving ahead with the lawyers and the letter to cover ourselves if we do cut them off.
Exactly, I was talking about the.
Oh, yeah, but that's different than tabling.
Exactly.
But we'll,
We need
The research.
to
Be
focus
prepared
on what
with
we
the
need to,
research.
what's in front of us first.
So what do you want to do with who we currently got right now?
Did we need a motion to send the letter? Is that what
Yeah.
we're looking for?
That'd be great, then that
I'd
one's
like
all
to make a
done.
motion that we send, that lawyers send the letter to LRS.
And I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion and possible action in reference to rebate for bills tapped in reference to downtown reinvestment grant.
All right, so this was previously approved by council, totaling $5,000, but due to contract issues, they had to do some of the work themselves in-house. So the plumbing portion was the only thing that could be covered by the grant. And that plumbing come in a few hundred dollars over the original plumbing bill. So the total amount for approval recommended is $3,500, not the original $5,000. And this was reviewed by Historic Preservation, and they recommend that as well.
So, okay, so the work was done in-house. What about the supplies? Are we covered paying for that? Is there,
So
Is
per
that
our,
not part of the
we have to
agreement?
have a contractor do the work for part of that. So you have to have the cash check, there's all this document that you have to follow through. And you have to show a check going out, you have to show the canceled check. So all that's got to be turned in when this is done, so.
okay.
And that's what's been submitted, all that's got to be submitted back to me, and so we have $3,500 that was submitted.
Motion to approve payment.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2026, approving transfer of funds.
So this is for our end of the year transfer of funds, which is transferring our annual transfer from sewer sinking fund to sewer. Our sports complex investment fund, that's the one in the money market that we have at Hills. That's just to cover that, the funds that are outgoing. And then the TIF to the downtown reinvestment for this $3,500 that you just approved.
Any motion?
Motion to approve resolution 21-2026.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nate? Aye. Charlie?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Correspondence?
Officer Gerke is retiring from the police department. The retirement's, is next, July 2nd. Thursday, Wednesday? Over at the Mount Vernon-Lisbon PD. So if anybody wants to attend, you're more than welcome to.
Wait a second. All right. For city engineer.
Quick update on well 5, the building, they have the building frame completed. They put plywood on the outside of the roof last week, put some house wrap around the outside of it. That they're going to continue to work on the exterior, trying to get a schedule for the metal guys for the roofing and the walls, and then we're also waiting for a little bit of equipment on the inside. But now they've got it framed up, they should be able to continue to work in there. Coming together pretty nicely.
Anybody got anything for Dave? Public Works.
We set aside money for chip and dip, and then on Main Street, on the east end, where the two sections of roads, the north and south side come together, it's pulling apart and leaving a gap. We'll have those, they couldn't get in here for this budget to get it done, so we're gonna combine this budget and do next year's budgets together. So we'll do one big job. We'll have all those numbers for you for next meeting.
So they're gonna chip and dip up?
No, they're gonna grind, that, that was part of it. You asked for that last year, and
There is a fill, they're not gonna chip and dip? that
no,
street.
it's chip and dip our streets. We drove around and we rated our streets 1 through 3, and then we're gonna try to get all the numbers 3s, which are the worst ones, this go around, and then we'll reevaluate in another year.
That's all you got?
What?
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Penny lines.
Oh, starting this week. We're gonna start downtown with the parking.
Travis, I know we mentioned this last time, but I wouldn't mind us addressing it some more. You probably have with the skid loader, an auger with that, because we talked about maybe moving the poles by the wading pool, like 6 foot in, so people would be in further, so kids aren't running and possibly
The parking poles.
Yes, the parking poles, move them 6 foot further in and start it from where it starts on the south side and go up almost to the pavilion, I would say. I mean, what's your guys' input on that? Because there's just tons, and like we talked about it, there's other towns that utilize that all the time. And it would just put people.
It's the first time hearing about it, so I wasn't here when you guys talked about it last
I
time.
don't remember either.
So,
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know if we move that right there, you have water and sewer that goes right there and shut-offs. If you wanna move that whole thing, that's gonna mess with, the handicap parking down by the other pavilion. If we're gonna move from north to south, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna go from south and go north and end it before the pavilion.
Before the pavilion?
Yeah, you know, because there's just it's just so busy. I mean, with vehicles parked in there, and it's just a matter of time with little kids dashing out. But if they had another 5 or 6 foot inward, I think that would solve a lot of problems. If it's not gonna, we would have to, of course, locate, you know, what you're talking about, underground lines.
Well, I just mean they're gonna be driving over top, but these are the curb boxes, like what's in your grass and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
We'll have to do something to protect those, but
I don't understand. You have water service on the east side where the parking is at the park
yeah.
that serves the houses on the
No,
west side?
it serves the splashback.
Just serves, so
Yeah.
how many water services?
Yeah,
One, right?
that one and then the pavilion's got one.
Well, if we staggered it, you know, and left that, you know, I mean,
But I mean,
for safety reasons. It's nothing that I don't think we're gonna even, make a motion on tonight. It's just something that you could put it in your back pocket, take a look at it, and see if it would be feasible. You know,
you've got the
I drive by
natural
park and I see
waterway.
a lot of cars that are parked with their tail bumper right at the street. So yes, I always take a wide berth trying to go down that street if I can.
So you thinking like Junction Auto, like up to the splash pad?
yeah.
Because, you know, beyond that, you got the ramp and walkway for the bathroom. And then you got
Exactly.
the swing set, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of how far that comes out.
No, yeah, the main nucleus to the
So you're
splash
talking,
pad.
okay,
Yeah,
we'll take a look at it.
yeah, just take a look at it, and if it's something that would be feasible, I mean, that would be great. We would all feel terrible from there.
Anybody else, anything for Carlos? Parks and Rec.
Jaden couldn't be here tonight, but he just said that sports are all on schedule and nothing new for him.
Okay. Library,
I don't have anything for Butch tonight.
Police Department? I don't know how to get it. Ambulance,
Nothing from him.
Fire Chief.
We approved 2 air packs and a radio at the last fire meeting. The air pack, one of the air packs will be through the fundraise fund, so this will put us to our new air packs that will fill out the 2 pumpers. So then we'll have 3 or 4 remaining going forward. We'll try to stagger them so that they're not all due at the same time. So that's all I have fire related. Oh, one other thing, we did have one siren go off the other morning. The one, I can't remember now if it was for the last meeting, but there was two mornings early. One was a tornado warning, and the last one was confirmed, I think, 78-mile-an-hour winds at the airport. So they recommended the southeast side of Lynn County set the sirens off, fire whistle. So we did that, and thankfully there was no damage or any wind whatsoever here. But if people were wondering, that's why. And I think for the first time too, I noticed on the phones it actually sent a severe weather alert, like the Amber Alert message for the destructive wind thing. So that's nice that those coincide. When they issue anything over 80 miles an hour, they're going to do that. So that's all I have.
Anybody got anything for Fire Chief? City Administrator.
Just a couple updates from the last meeting. I talked to Chief Blinks, and I'm gonna meet with Travis down there tomorrow. We're gonna look at the one stall down there at the red brick building. We're probably gonna try to angle that, and then make sure that the yellow paint goes around that corner, so that way we don't get 2 vehicles parked there, and it won't be straight. So we should have, that should help clear that intersection a little bit. Also, the bushes, they're gonna get to them, 3rd Avenue and Jackson. So they'll be on that. And then also I spoke to the individual down from Raleigh again about that tree that's caused a blind spot down there too. So hopefully we'll get some resolution on that. I'm hopefully pronouncing this right. Los Canados is opening. They told us today, Thursday, at 5 p.m. for dinner. That's the Mexican restaurant downtown. You saw in the packet, we approved the liquor license, and
They're open this week?
This week. Yep. So you can drive down, you got the sign put up, looks pretty nice. I've seen they had 2 TVs sitting out there on Friday that they put in, so hopefully that comes to fruition. But she called today, said they'd be open Thursday at 5, assuming they got their permit. So we'll upload that in the morning and be ready to go. As we mentioned, LRS issues, that took up a good chunk of my 2 weeks here. We had a P&Z meeting for the 414 West Main. We're going to have a second P&Z meeting I have to schedule. There is someone on Country Club Drive that wants to put up a shed, and they have kind of a unique triangular lot that's got 2 kind of pie lots. They want to put it all as one, so that way they can put a new garage Thanks to Brian, if you look down Lisbon Road, that's cleaned up really nice. He's been working at that. And then also I made contact with the contractor for mowing the ditches out on 30, so that will be starting hopefully soon, once he gets that all situated. Working with the city attorney in Southeast Lynn on a lease agreement for that building. There's been a lot of issues in the past on who pays for what, so we're meeting with them, draft up the lease, and then I'll come to you guys for approval here in the next couple of months. And last thing I have is this Saturday, 7 to 10, is bulky item drop-off day down at the city shop. I've been told, LRS, they said they were going to be here, so.
Hey Travis, what are you doing?
Just, how many?
Bring a dumpster. Yeah.
Tell them it's actually Thursday.
They've promised, they're gonna bring some roll-offs and a couple trucks, so, hopefully that comes to fruition, otherwise, that's not gonna be a fun day, so, that's all I have.
I get some, Travis first. Who maintains right out there, like by Waters?
Are you talking the trees leaning over? Yeah, so I got a call into the county to see if they can bring their machine down. Otherwise, we'll have to rent one to do it. I was in class today and I'll be in class tomorrow, so hopefully I can touch base with them and see if I can get them when they come in, just to hit that.
Is that the area where like half the street is county and half the street is city or
Yeah, it's
something
And
else?
then that contract also where we swapped Gillette Lane, they maintain that, they maintain on South Washington, and then we do maintenance out there, so it's a.
We traded the halves
Yeah.
for 2 holes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
A question for Brandon, have we started looking at any alleys, you know, with, I brought that to attention about the unkept.
So there's, yes, Travis and I talked about that, and then there's another alley that I was up actually with LRS off Jackson Street, and we're gonna need to clean up that one as well. So I don't know the one specific that you were referring to, but.
Random, drive around.
Well, I know, but you have specific ones that you know for sure?
Yeah, just right around my area.
Because, like,
My neighborhood.
some people, what they've done is, you can go like, kind of in your area where they've actually changed the scope of the alley, or it's, you know, different, so, but, yeah, I will go up and down your alley.
And I know, I texted you right when we got the rains real hard 2 weeks ago. Just an update, let everybody know what, like the runoff from like the ball fields, how that all worked out.
Yeah, that's, doing what it's supposed to do, I don't know, like, ground's been so saturated, I think it was Friday, we had a inch and 3/10 rain, I think, was it Friday, Thursday, whatever day it was, but the pond's actually running over, so it's doing its job out there, because everything's running through there. We actually blew out one of the silt fences, so, Wendler had to come out, late Friday and get that put back up, so everything's good.
So like everything from the ball down, they drain into that pond anymore, right? Per se.
Well, it goes down through that ditch and then.
But I mean, we're not sending the mud and everything that Steve.
No. That's because that silt fence blew out. That was the first drain, so.
That's all I do. Anybody else got anything for you? Christina?
Working on the end of the fiscal year, start of the fiscal year, and we scheduled our city audit for the end of July. So right after that stuff's done, that'll be my next focus.
Anything for Christina? Nate?
Just want to say the landscaping out front looks pretty nice, way better than the dead grass we've had for a long time. So kudos to, I guess it's the Crowell Farms, I guess, took care of that. And then, yeah, just thanks for bringing the numbers, Rick, on privatizing the garbage. That's I think a good thing to think about. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah, again, Rick, that was good very good information that you had, and one more, you see, it's getting to be a concern of mine is these younger kids with these two-wheel battery-operated scooters that, you know, go 20, 25 mile an hour, and they're not wearing helmets. I mean,
Both communities are actually, we're looking at.
That would be great.
There's a couple ordinances that are out there now.
up to 14 or something.
They went to the 11th hour in the state and never passed anything, so you guys have anything? Am I correct with that? That was a topic of discussion, but nothing was.
It was, there were bicycles and the motorized bikes and some of that, but.
Well, the two-wheel things just scare the heck. I mean, you hit a bump or anything and it don't have that, we would all feel bad if we were talking about safety earlier. I mean, that's another big concern. It's like, I didn't know.
I'm gonna share with you, my daughter has one of those motorized scooter, you know, just a little motorized thing. She hit a bump, it twisted the front wheel, she went face first into concrete, and she is still suffering brain, she had a severe concussion. 34 years old, I mean, she knew better. It happens, and
I had to get the big light one, right?
Anything else? Anything else, Ron?
No, that's it.
Rick?
So the ball diamond down here, who takes, the question I got is, the Crows put up a bench for Jason Crow. And there was an issue with it, that it was the wrong way, so they faced it the other way to look to watch the ball game, where people could go watch the ball game. But now they put up a fence where you're looking at the back of a sign. I think that's kind of I don't know if they knew that.
You know what he's talking about?
Over
Over at
Right
the,
behind the splash.
Right behind the splash pad, there's that bench there.
Oh, the one that says Freddie or something?
yeah,
Okay.
what they did is, they got a memorial, and they put in a bench so Jason liked baseball, so they could,
Right.
you know, and now that they've got the home run fence up and everything, then they have this banners and everything. Anybody that sits there can't watch a football game, or a baseball game. So I think what Rick's asking is to
Move
move
it,
that.
or what that we thinking, or?
What's that?
I think move it, or move
Well, I
something.
just think
I moved the sign.
for the, you know, for the respect of the family that.
Sure.
That,
I mean, maybe ask them, you know, if they want it over there, or do they want it out at the new sports complex? I mean, we can relocate it,
I think I should be able to reach both, a couple family members and see.
I mean, just see what you
All right.
John?
The Thursday Eats program where we blocked off with some of East Main, it's very successful. Nobody got wet. It threatened rain. I haven't got a count, but it was hundreds of people. There was a steady line going through there. The food was great. Fairway did the grilling for us, thanks to them. Also, Friends of the Lisbon Library raised over $600 on their plant sale over Friday and Saturday. And the Lisbon Library is providing a kids program for sauerkraut days on Saturday between 11 and 5. The one group that's coming in is paid for by sauerkraut days, and the other one group that's coming in will be the library and possibly Friends of the Library paying for that. So it's something new, and we're looking forward to it. That's all I have.
Kevin?
Just to add on to that, did anybody complain about the street being locked where it was versus shutting down Washington Street? Was everyone okay with that?
I haven't heard any.
Because that seemed like it worked a lot better.
I think they checked.
Yeah, the only thing we had was,
More
there was
safety.
a power issue that we need to get fixed. We don't know what the issue is, but we ended up getting them power, so it worked out.
Now we would have had it taken care of for some time.
Yeah,
We appreciate
It's probably
it.
good.
I'm sure
Good find.
that's just a lot less hassle closing that street off for
Yeah, it actually worked out pretty slick, and
Unless
they were good.
somebody didn't like it from the food side of it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
On John's coattail, I did talk to, actually the Fairway, and they said they had to go back out and get more meat. And they, I think they said last year they did like around 150, and they did like 300 this year.
Yeah, I heard it was.
What were they grilling out?
Hot dogs, hamburgers, it was very busy out there, and very nice turnout,
Very good.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if people have seen, they did catch a pretty big fish out of that pond over there in Mackinac. Big, well, I mean, I don't know, there's like 10 kids holding this big carp, but it was pretty good. I think that's all I got. Meeting adjourned.